Yes, it's Thursday.
Happy Thursday, everyone! We're back with Virginia for the third stretch class. Third stretch class. These classes are so good. They just make you feel so calm and so happy inside your own body. So without further ado, let me introduce to you the amazing Virginia!
Hi guys, welcome back. So again, we're going to stretch our whole body today, but we're going to do something a little bit different before we head to the floor. We're going to do a little bit of hip strengthening and some balance work as well, and we're going to do a little bit of basic ballet technique, which helps with balance and hip strengthening. So before we get started, we always start with a little bit of a warm up. So let's get started. Let's start with our ankles. Just going to circle our ankles in one direction, circling, and other way. And switching to the other side. And changing directions. Feet hip width, slightly wider than hip width. Hands on hips, hands out to the side, holding onto a chair. We're going to do some calf raises. So raising up and down.
Do you want a chair?
No, I should be right.
You're
Famous
right?
last words.
Okay.
I fall over. So raising up and down. Get those calves and ankles nice and warm. Core engaged, it helps with your balance. And you can find a spot on the floor to focus on. Also helps with your balance. And then we're going to take it into some squats. So feet a little bit wider than hip width, knees going over toes. Just some shallow squats, just to get the glutes and hips slightly warmer, get the body moving, and stretch out your calves the opposite way to what we just did. So get that heart rate up, get that body nice and warm, get those muscles nice and warm, ready to be stretched. Alrighty, feet wider than hip width, hands on hips, big hip circles. And back the other way. Big hip circles, drawing a nice big circle with your hips. All right, and center. Leaning side to side. Big stretches to the side. Take it nice and slow. Now we're going to start taking your hand overhead. And breathing, important to breathe. All right, we're gonna do some coordination. So we're gonna have our hips going side to side, our hands gonna go with us. So straight arms, opening and closing the hands as you move your hips side to side.
Opening and closing the hands.
Arms.
Oh, sorry.
Hands, arms.
Like close and open.
Oh, no, you could do that too, if you really wanted to.
Get the fingers stretched.
Arms, hands, arms. I forget my body parts, I'm bad. And now we're going to take our arms overhead as we move our hips side to side. So up and down. Good work. A little bit of coordination, make the brain work as well. Got to exercise those brain cells. And breathe. Don't forget to breathe. All right, and squat and a big circle with the arms. Squat and a big circle with the arms. So we're just circling our arms outwards. Getting some movement through them. Plus it's fun to do two movements at the same time. And shaking it out. Alrighty, let's get started with we're gonna do some balance work / hip strengthening work. So you can grab a chair for balance if you wish. I might as well, because I'll probably fall over. My luck. So to use the chair, obviously you want to have it turned so the back of the chair is closest to you, because it's essentially going to act as a bar. Standing up nice and tall, stand with your feet together, and we're just going to take our leg out to the front. We're going to do a little bit of a point with the toe, and we want to have nice straight legs and bring it back together. So out and in. So what it should look like from here. Take it out and in. You can see my leg is nice and straight. I'm engaging my quads, keeping it nice and straight. So we're strengthening the leg muscles and we're slowly warming up our hip. And then we're going to bring it back into center and we're going to take it out to the side. So take it out. So you want your knee facing forward for this one. So just taking it out to the side, you should start to feel this hip joint get nice and warm. Engage your core, we'll also get into the core as well. A nice, straight back, tall posture. Out to the side. Good one. Now we're going to take it backwards. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. So what we want to do is keep our chest up, take our leg back and in. We're going to squeeze our butt cheek. Or glute, and in, out, and in. So what we want to avoid is this. We don't want to be doing this. We want to just move the leg. So keep everything solid, move your leg out and in, out and in, out and in. And by this point, your hips should start to be waking up, especially those glutes and quads. And then the last one we're going to do on this side, feet together. We're going to take our leg out in front. We're going to make a nice big circle to the back, bring it in, take it out. Big circle, and bring it in. Again, circle, and in, circle. We're going to go for 2 more of these forwards, and then we're going to take it backwards. So you'll start to feel these hips warming up. And now we're going to go back. So take it back, circle it around, and in. Back, circle it around, and in, back, around, and in. 3 more. And 2. Last one. Around and in. Shake it out. I know this butt cheek hurts when I'm standing on. It's burning.
Wow.
So that's the first side done. We've got 2 legs, so we've got to do the other side. So standing up nice and tall, core engaged, taking your legs forward and in, forward and in. So this is, like I mentioned earlier, really, really basic ballet movements, but it's really good for strengthening your hips and strengthening your leg muscles and getting everything warmed up and ready for stretching as well. So remember, keep these legs nice and straight. Use this quad to take your leg out in front of you. Beautiful, nice and tall with this posture. Core engaged, belly button into spine, pin it in. Now we're going to take our leg out to the side. So take it out and in. Remember, knee facing forwards for this one. Or you can just work to your natural turnout. If you do have naturally turned out hips, you can just work to wherever your knee will go. But if not, then have the knee facing forward. And now we're going to go backwards. So bring the feet in together, take your leg back and in, back. And remember, core engaged, body upright, so none of this. Keep it all upright, just moving the legs. Good work. Keep going. All right, now we're going to do our circles. Ooh, feeling that. And take it out, circle it around, and in. Hopefully your legs are burning and those hips are getting ready to be stretched.
I didn't think my legs would burn, but they're actually burning. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep. Try doing a whole hour class on that. You will be sore the next day. And now we're going to go backwards, around and forwards to finish. Back, forwards, in, back, forward, in. So you can go try and take it slow-ish. The slower you go, the harder it's going to be, and the more it will burn. Let's do one more. Around. Ooh, give those legs a shake.
Oh, that was good.
So your booties should be burning, because we're just working with muscles. Before we head to the floor, we're going to stretch our calf, and obviously if you have a chair, use your chair, otherwise use a wall, or you don't have to use anything at all. Step ladder, good too. So we want to be facing a chair, or we can have your hands on hips if you don't have anything. It just depends on how good your balance is. Taking one leg behind you and stepping back. What we want is this foot to be facing forwards. So I step backwards, I look back, my foot's facing forwards. We don't want it to be turned out. We want it facing directly forwards. From there, we're going to bend our front knee and we're going to keep our chest up nice and tall. That's why you want to have something to lean on to make sure that chest is upright, because if you do it without anything, you'll most likely do this unless you have a mirror to correct yourself. So chest up, nice and tall. So you can, I like to rest my hands on something, makes it more comfortable as well. Stretching through the back of the leg. So you should feel the stretch all the way up the back of the calf, and some people might feel it behind the knees. You may also feel it sort of in the hamstring. Depends on where you're super duper tight. Bring your feet together, switching to the other side. So remember, foot facing forwards, chest up. Nice and tall. Get a good stretch.
Is my weight more on my front leg or my back leg?
I like to put equal pressure between both legs. But yeah, try not to put too much weight on one over the other. I like to do an even pressure if you can. Because if you put too much in the front, you're not really going to stretch a lot. If you put too much in the back, you may overstretch. So yeah, even weight distribution through both legs. It's just a nice light little stretch to get the bodies prepared for what is to come. Alrighty, we do not need our chair anymore. Can go away. While we're standing up, feet hip width or a little bit wider than hip width, we're just going to roll down to the ground. So bending your knees. I don't want a super hardcore hamstring stretch for this one. Start with your head, slowly drop down till your hands hit the floor. Walk your hands out in front of you. Push your weight through your shoulders. You can keep your legs bent here. If you do have extra flexibility, you can then straighten your legs as well. But happy for you just to have a bent leg as well. Then we're going to go into a bear plank. So on all fours, but our knees are hovering off the ground. Think about keeping this belly button pressed into your spine and really pushing through your shoulders. Then we're going to push back into our downward dog position. So again, you can go to straight legs or slightly bent legs depending on flexibility. Into our bear plank and pushing back into our downward dog. And again, bear plank. So remember, keep that core engaged. Downward dog. Alright, let's do one more. So bear plank. Let's hold our bear plank. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Onto your knees. Whew, and rest. Good work. So that's just getting those hamstrings warmed up and awake, getting the core switched on and awake as well. The next thing we're going to do is our pigeon stretch. So we're on our knees. We're going to take one knee forward, bringing it out in front of us. We're going to keep our hips on top of our foot and nice and square and turn directly to the side. And we want to rest our hands on the floor. So what that looks like from the front is on here. Oh, I'll go backwards actually. I bring one leg forward, hands on the ground. Bring one leg forward. My hips are facing the front. My hands are on the ground. So if you're not overly tight through your butt, you can then start to bring this foot out a little bit, so creep it out, as long as you keep all the weight on top of your hips. So what I don't want to see is resting to the side. So you want to think about keeping your hips directly on top of that foot, if that makes sense. So resting those hands on the ground, so keeping that chest up nice and tall. Holding this here, I'll go back to the side. Holding this here. And then if you want to go a little bit deeper through that leg, we can go onto our forearms and rest your head down. So if that's not overly comfortable for you, keep those arms up nice and straight. But yeah, you can take it down, head down, and relax. If the mobility in your hips and your glute is really bad or really tight, you can put a cushion underneath the hips as well to give you a little bit of support. So you can just roll the cushion up and pop it underneath. Holding this here for a bit longer. Coming back up to those hands, bringing your knees together, and we've got to stretch the other side. So, other leg forward. Bringing it out in front of you, hips square, so facing forwards, and on top of that foot, chest up, putting your weight through your hands. Again, if you need extra support, grab a cushion or a towel or a pillow, roll it up, and you can pop that underneath your hips just to help support them. So holding this here. If you're wanting to take it a little bit deeper, then you can shift to your forearms and put your head down and just hold this stretch here. Hold it for a little bit longer. Don't forget to breathe. Nice deep breaths in and out. And bringing the hands back in, chest up, and bringing your knees together. How are we feeling? So we should be feeling these glutes, they should be switched on, should be getting stretched out and burnt. All right, we're gonna go into some hip stretching now. So we're gonna take our legs out into our straddle position. So we just wanna open them out into our nice straddle position. So again, everyone's straddle is different. Some people's straddle may be here, some people's here, or here. Just work to whatever's comfortable for you. Things to remember in our straddle position, everyone's gonna be at different stages. So a lot of the time you will start your straddle here, which is totally fine. I want you to think about sitting up as straight as you can, and eventually we want to work towards having these hips tilted forward. So what we're wanting to think about is turn our hips under and sit on top of the hips, or sit on the pelvic bone, as you like to say. But if you're here, that's totally fine. Just try and sit up as straight as you can. So sitting up nice and tall, hips tucked under, get comfy in this position, and we're going to reach over to one foot. So we're going to be turning. You can have a hand down here for support and reach for your foot. So we should be feeling the stretch at the back of the leg. We're stretching. So holding this here.
Oh my god, I can barely do any more than this. This is so
You've got to start somewhere.
Oh my god.
That's good though.
Oh man.
So if you're like Donnie and you sit like this, that's totally fine, just as long as you're sitting up straight, and you can start to lean to the side if you can. Otherwise, if you're feeling a stretch here, just hang out here and breathe, because it's doing something, it's stretching. And coming back up to center and switching to the opposite leg. That's good.
Come on.
This is definitely, it is an advanced stretch, but it's a really good one for every single person to be working on, because it's going to help with this hip mobility and the tilting of the hips. It's also lengthening our hamstrings, which obviously can help prevent injuries in everyday life. Okay, let's go back to our first leg just to stretch that a little bit more. So try and go a little bit deeper if you can. And breathe. So again, you can have this opposite hand to support you here. It also allows you to push a little bit more if you need a bit more of a push. And back up to center. And again, back to the other side to finish. I think I killed Donnie. He's lying on the floor.
Too much weights and boxing, not stretching.
Gotta stretch. Stretching every day. And up to center. Now we're going to just go as far forward as we can. So again, you're probably going to feel this stretch through the inner thigh, again, everyone feels the stretch in different places. So sitting up nice and tall, try and tuck those hips under as much as you can. Walking your hands up. So think about trying to reach for something in front of you. It's like a lolly or something that you really like and you want, reaching out right in front of you. Nice and straight. Think about trying to grab for it and holding the stretch here. Again, totally fine if your reach is here. You've got to start somewhere. So reaching, breathing and holding. It's not a comfortable stretch, this one, so it shouldn't feel overly pleasant, but then again, it shouldn't feel like you're injuring yourself. So don't take your stretching too far. Only work to what your body will allow you to work with. A couple more breaths here. Deep breaths in and out. And we're going to walk our hands back and we're going to bring our legs together. Give them a nice big shake. How are they feeling? They should be burning. Today is a very big leg day. Alrighty, let's do one more little hip stretch and then we can do some arms. So we're going to bring our feet together. Pressing those feet together, knees apart and bent. Try not to grab the tops of your toes. Grab your ankles. It's going to be a lot better for those ankles. And again, we're going to grab our ankles for leverage and we're just going to lean forward. So start to lean as far forward as you can. So tuck those elbows in, pull yourself forward if you can. Again, if you're sitting here and you're feeling it, that's totally fine. If you would like, you can gently just push down on one knee and switch to the other side. If you're not able to go forward, however, if you are able to go forward, you can pull, or again, you can reach those hands out in front of you as much as possible. So you may feel this in your lower back. If you have a tight lower back, probably feel it through the glutes if you're tight there. Some people feel it in the inner thighs. It's all dependent on where you're really tight as well. But generally speaking, this one should be stretching your glutes. So holding it here, breathing, breathing, breathing. And coming back, giving those legs a nice big shake. All right. Let's do a couple of arm stretches and then that's our whole body stretched. So not nice and easy, it's a little bit hard today, but hard is good. Hard makes you stronger. Crossing your legs, sitting up nice and tall like you're at school. Arm by your ear. And we're just going to lean to the side. So what we do not want to do, so we're going to lean to the side, shoulders stacked on top of one another. We don't want to be doing this. So chest to the side, directly to the side. Think about you're in between two panes of glass. So you have to lean to the side.
What if you can't cross your legs? Because I can't cross my legs.
If you can't cross your legs, then
you go like this.
You can, so you can sit like this, or you can do it up on your knees if that's fine with you as well. Wherever's comfortable for you. But I do recommend challenging yourself and crossing your legs because it's a very good skill to have and it's something that we lose as adults. Just sitting on the floor, crossing your legs. It's such a simple thing, but we lose it as adults. So I recommend if you can, try and practice crossing your legs on the floor because it helps with your rotation of your hips, helps with hip mobility, so many things. It stretches while you're sitting there, so it's a good skill to keep working on and having. Let's switch to the other side. But a lot of people do not find it comfortable sitting cross-legged. So it's a good thing to practice. It sounds so simple, but practice it. Coming up to center. Now we're just going to lean forward. I'm going to chill out here. Stretching. So you should feel this through your lower back and through your glutes. And just hanging out here and stretching. Again, if you're cross-legged as here, then I just want you to cover your knees and just sit in a little ball like a little egg.
Yeah, I'm going to do that one.
And coming up. Alright, you can come onto your knees with this, or if you're more comfortable standing up, feel free to do all this standing up, because it's just our arms. So bringing your arm across your body, grabbing onto it with the other hand, and gently pulling it across. I like to think about adding a little bit of a twist into this, and you should feel it through this back shoulder. Stretching. Breathing. So remember, all your stretches you want to be holding for 15 to 20 seconds is a good standard. Try not to go any longer than that, especially if you're just starting out. We don't want to overdo it, and we don't want to hurt ourselves. So 15 to 20 seconds, and breathe big breaths in and out. Helps with the discomfort. Bringing it across. Again, remember to twist. Release, and bringing it up over top, bending it in, grabbing your elbow with the opposite hand, gently pulling it over the top. So what we want to try and do is get our body upright. So we want to try not to be hunched over. Try and lift your chest up as much as you can. Just work to what your body will allow you to do. Switching to the other side. And release. While we're down here, bringing your hands over like this, puppy hands. Popping them on the ground, straight arms, and just really gentle pressure through those wrists, and you should feel this nice big stretch up the forearms. So try and avoid having bent elbows. You want them nice and straight. If this is a really intense stretch for you, then you can take some weight off of the hands. Just do it nice and gently. And then we're just going to flip them over, so the bottom of our hand, palm of our hands are on the floor, and put a little bit of weight through them just to stretch them sort of that way. Release, give those hands a nice big shake. We'll finish with our neck stretches, and then we're all done for today. Tilting your head to the side. You can put a little bit of gentle pressure on top of your head if you wish, pushing down with this opposite shoulder and holding this stretch here. Stretch. And then I want you to look down and put a little bit of gentle pressure on the back of the head. Back to center, other side. Tilting over, gentle pressure on top, pushing this shoulder down, stretching, relaxing. And tilting forwards. And then we're going to go all the way forwards. So forwards, center. Again, don't put too much pressure on your head if you do have a bit of a stiff neck. You don't want to make that problem worse. And then we want to look up at the ceiling. Remember to keep your teeth closed.
Oh, I can feel that. That's like right in through here.
Yes. And we are all done for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining in on Stretch Class, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, that's amazing work. I am very not flexible, but that was great. I was doing it back there, not all of it, just the bits that I could. That's so good. Stretching's really important, isn't it?
It's so important for you, yes. It's something that just try and do a little bit every day. It's really important.
What I find difficult, Virginia, is everyone's like, weights are important, cardio is important, stretching is important, eating well is important, sleeping well is important, giving yourself time to read a book and educate yourself. Oh my god, how am I meant to stay on top of everything? Anyway, I hope you guys are staying on top of things. Soon we'll open up again. I don't know when, but one day we will. Then you can come back here and try all those important things. Thanks so much, Candice. Great class, and we'll see you guys soon.